The halls of the Xelaria palace were made of crystal and gold. Beautiful music echoed through the corridors. But behind the beauty, there was silence. A heavy silence. The kind that comes with shame. Princess Xelaria stood alone in the Garden of Moons, holding her staff tightly. Her eyes were clouded with white. She was blind from birth. Her left leg was not relit. It was made of silver and old tech. Every step she took made a soft clicking sound. She was a princess. But no one saw her that way. In Xelaria culture, royal heirs were expected to bond with a warrior from another race to strengthen alliances. It was a tradition, a sacred rule. The bond was emotional and mental stronger than love. But no warrior had ever chosen her. Why would they? Whispered one noble long ago. She's blind. She's broken. That word haunted her, broken. Even her own mother, the queen, kept her hidden. She never appeared in royal ceremonies. She sat in the shadows while her younger cousins stood in the light. She had stopped hoping, till today, a strange group had arrived from Earth. Humans, diplomats, and warriors. They came to speak of peace and trade. Some said humans were weak, wild, even dangerous. But Xelaria only cared about one thing. Maybe one of them would choose her. She heard footsteps behind her, soft ones. She turned her head slightly. "You shouldn't be out here alone," said a male voice. Calm, confident, warm. "I'm never alone," she replied. "The stars are always with me." The man laughed gently. "That's a good answer." She tilted her head. "You're human." "Yes," he said. "Liam Carter, diplomatic officer. And you must be Princess Xelaria." She nodded slowly. "I am the unwanted one." Liam frowned. "Who told you that?" "Everyone," she said simply. Liam walked closer. She could hear the sound of his boots on the marble floor. Then silence. He was standing in front of her. "I read about your people before coming," he said. "I read that the bond is sacred, powerful, that it connects to minds across space and time." "Yes," she whispered. "And yet no one chose you," Liam said quietly. Her grip tightened on her staff. "Because I am blind. Because I am different." Liam didn't speak for a moment. Then, in a calm voice, he said, "May I ask you something personal?" "You may. Can you fight?" She smiled, a cold, sad smile. "Come with me." She turned and walked toward the deeper part of the garden. Liam followed, curious. They entered a space surrounded by dark trees and strange glowing vines. The air was thick and quiet. "This is where I train," she said. "Alone." "Yes." "Always alone." She pulled a cloth from her pocket and tied it over Liam's eyes. He laughed nervously. "What's this?" "You wanted to know how I fight?" she said. "Now you'll see nothing." "Like me." Before he could speak, she moved fast. Her staff struck a tree beside him, then another. He turned, confused, but could not see her. Then the staff tapped his shoulder. She was gone again. The staff hit the ground in front of him, then behind. He swung his arms blindly, laughing and surprised. Then the cloth was removed. Xelaria stood before him, not even breathing. Hard. "How?" he asked. "I use sound, air, energy, the heartbeat of life. I do not see like you, but I feel everything." Liam stared at her. "That's amazing." "No," she said. "It's not enough. Not for my people." Liam stepped forward. "It's enough for me." She froze. "Oh, you don't mean that." "Do," he said. "I've met warriors from many planets. I've seen muscles, strength, weapons. But I've never seen someone like you, someone who learned to dance with the darkness." Xelaria felt her heart beat faster. No one had ever spoken to her like that. "I'm not allowed to bond," she said. "It would shame the court." "I don't care about their shame," Liam said. "I only care about truth. I see the truth in you." At that moment, the garden lights flickered. A shadow moved in the distance. Someone was watching, before they could react. A small metal dart flew toward Xelaria's chest. Liam moved faster than he ever had in his life. He grabbed her and pulled her down. The dart Missed by inches, guards ran into the garden. Lights flashed. Assassin. Someone shouted. Xelaria lay in Liam's arms, her face pale. He looked around, holding her tight. Who would try to kill her? The guard whispered. Maybe someone afraid she'd finally bond with someone. Someone? Like you. Asterisk, after the attack in the garden, the palace changed. Guards now watched every door. The queen gave orders in whispers. Servants moved quickly, afraid of speaking too much. And in the center of all this, tension stood Liam Carter, the human who saved the blind. Princess. Many aliens now whispered his name, some with respect, others with anger. Princess Xelaria, however, stayed silent. She had not spoken to Liam since. That night, she was safe, but she was distant. Liam couldn't forget what he saw. The speed of her movements, the way she danced through darkness, the way her breath had stopped when the dart flew past her, and the way her hand had clutched his shirt. When he pulled her down, she wasn't just strong. She was surviving in a world that wanted her gone. Now, Liam had questions. He wanted answers. He found her again in the same moonlit garden. But this time, guards stood around her. Watching him closely, she sat on a bench, head tilted up. Listening to the wind. I heard you were leaving, she said without turning. I was told I should, Liam replied, but you stayed. I had a reason. She raised an eyebrow. Curiosity. Yes, and something more. He stepped closer, ignoring the guards. Why would someone want you dead? He asked. She sighed. Because I'm not supposed to be seen, not supposed to be chosen. If a human bonds with me, it breaks every rule. But why, Liam asked. Your people talk about honor, strength, destiny. Why is your destiny ignored? She didn't answer for a moment. Then she stood up. I want to show you something. She led him deep into the palace. Past locked doors, down long winding stairs made of ancient black stone. The air grew colder. Dust floated in the air. Strange carvings glowed on the walls. This place is not on any map, she said. What is it? A place of memory and warning. They entered a chamber with high ceilings and a round stone table in the center. On the walls, murals showed alien figures bonded, pairs fighting wars together, leading armies, exploring stars. But one image stood out. A princess, blind, with a human. That's you? Liam said, shocked. No, she replied softly. That's an ancient legend. One my people have buried. They say the last blind royal bonded with a human. And together, they awakened something too powerful. Liam walked toward the mural. His hand touched the stone. Suddenly, the room trembled. A pulse of light came from beneath the table. A hidden platform rose from the ground. At its center was a small metal object glowing with soft blue light. Xelaria gasped. That was never here before. Liam stepped forward. The object opened. Inside was a round stone disc covered in markings. He touched it. The disc lit up. Xelaria stepped back. The system recognized you. What system? She turned to him, voice shaking. The old weapon, the one only a bonded pair could unlock. Liam's heart pounded. You think this means we're meant to bond? I don't know, she whispered. But if the court finds out, we'll both be hunted. Suddenly a voice echoed from the hallway above. Step away from the relic. Guards stormed in with weapons. The queen herself walked behind them, her face cold and angry. What have you done, Xelaria? She asked. Liam stood in front of her. It was me. I touched it. The queen stared at him. You do not understand what you have awakened. That relic was sealed for a reason. Liam spoke firmly. Then maybe it's time the truth comes out. Stepped forward, her voice calm but powerful. We have hidden too long. I will not be silent anymore. The queen's eyes narrowed. Then you will face the consequences. The guards stepped closer, but the relic began to glow. Again brighter, stronger, it pulsed with energy. The ground shook. Liam grabbed Xelaria's hand. The guard stopped for the first time. The queen looked afraid. You've bonded, she whispered. The system knows. Xelaria's hand tightened in Liam's, And for the first time in her life, she didn't feel like a burden. She felt like a key, a weapon, a future. The palace no longer felt like home to Princess Xelaria. It felt like a cage. Since the relic had awakened, nothing was the same. The queen had ordered the relic sealed again. Liam was placed under constant watch. The guards followed Xelaria everywhere. She went heaven into the gardens, but something had changed inside her. The relic had responded not just to Liam, but to her presence. When they touched, something ancient had come alive. And deep in her mind, she began to hear it a soft hum calling her. She couldn't ignore it anymore. One night, while the moons were high and the palace slept, Xelaria moved silently through the halls. Staff tapped softly as she walked each step measured. She passed the guard's iceli, her hearing sharper than theirs, her senses attuned to the vibrations in the floor. She had trained for years to move like a shadow. She reached Liam's chamber and tapped gently. He opened the door, surprised. "You shouldn't be here," he whispered. "They'll know," he said. "They always know," she replied. "But this time I don't care." She held out her hand. "We're going beneath the throne." Liam stared at her. "What's under the throne?" "Truth." They entered a part of the palace no one visited anymore, the Hall of Ancients. It was built before most records began, with symbols that even the Queen's scholars couldn't read. Xelaria placed her hand on a panel near the wall. Nothing happened. Then Liam placed his hand next to hers. The wall trembled. Stone doors opened. With a heavy groan, behind them was a hidden staircase that spiraled downward into darkness. As they descended, the air grew colder. Strange glowing moss covered the walls. The hum in Xelaria's mind grew louder. They finally reached a massive underground chamber. At the center was a throne ancient, cracked, and covered in vines. Round it were giant rings of metal and glass machines. Built for something far beyond understanding, Liam stepped forward. This is a control room, or a weapon chamber," Xelaria said softly. "My ancestors called it the heart of the world." She walked to the old throne. "This is where the first blind princess sat, the one from the legend. They say she and her human bondmate ended a war that nearly destroyed Velzari. Touched one of the rings, but why hide it? Because the power they used was feared. It was too strong. It made the council afraid of what a bond like theirs could do." Xelaria sat on the throne. Nothing happened. Then Liam stepped beside her. The machines came to life. Lights flickered. Ancient symbols glowed red and gold. The humming turned into a voice. Not in words, but feelings. Unity. Strength. Destiny. Liam's eyes widened. "It's responding to us." Xelaria gripped the throne's arms. "This weapon, it doesn't just need a mind. It needs a connection, emotion, trust." "A bond," Liam whispered. Suddenly, a screen lit up on the far wall. It showed a large ship, spiked, slowly approaching Velzari space. "What is that?" Liam asked. Xelaria stood up. Her face was pale. "That is the Varnock Dread class, a warship from the old enemy. They were destroyed 100 years ago. Then why are they here now?" Liam asked. "I don't know." "They reach orbit. We're not ready." Liam looked around. "Then this chamber. This is our only chance." Xelaria nodded. "But if we tell the Queen, she'll shut it down." Liam placed a hand on the old console. "Then we don't tell her." She turned to him.
"What?
"To fight? For my world?" "I didn't come here to fight," he said, "but I also didn't come to let you face this alone." Xelaria felt her heart stir. For the first time, not with sadness, but with fire. The voice in the machine spoke again, this time through both of them. Pilot linked. Bond confirmed. The chamber pulsed with energy. Somewhere above, sensors activated.
Out.
The warship approaching. The system was now marked. Target locked. Back in the throne room above, the Queen awoke from a restless sleep. An alarm sounded deep below the floor, one that hadn't been heard in 100 years. Her advisors ran in, confused. "What's happening?" she asked. The heart of the world has awakened. The queen stood, trembling. Then the legends were true. She looked toward the walls and whispered a name she had not spoken in decades. Xelaria. The ancient chamber pulsed with energy. Lights swirled across the walls like living stars. The machines around Liam and Xelaria moved on their own, responding. Two thoughts, feelings, and heartbeats. This place wasn't just a weapon, it was alive. Do you feel that? Liam asked, his hand resting on the console. Xelaria nodded slowly. Yes, it's inside me, like a second heartbeat. They stood side by side, but something had changed between them. The relic had linked them deeper than before. She could sense his worry before he spoke it. He could feel her pain like it was his own. The bond had begun to form. But outside that chamber, the world was not ready. A warning siren echoed from above. Liam turned to the ancient screen. It now showed multiple enemy ships. They're not just watching, he said. They're coming. Xelaria moved to the control throne, her silver leg clicking softly. You have to act now. Before Liam could answer, a sharp voice cut through the air. Step away from that machine. The queen had arrived. Dozens of elite guards marched in behind her, weapons drawn. Her golden robe shimmered, but her eyes were full of fear. Xelaria, she said slowly, what have you done? I've done what you never let me do, Xelaria replied. I listened to the call of my blood. I chose. The queen looked at Liam. And he is your choice? He is more than my choice, Xelaria said firmly. He is my bond. Gasps echoed through the guards. Some raised their weapons higher. The queen's face darkened. You have broken a sacred law. No, Liam said calmly. We followed a deeper law. One, your people forgot survival. Xelaria turned to her mother. We are being attacked. That warship belongs to the Varnock. They destroyed half our galaxy once. If we don't act, they'll do it again. You think you can stop them? The queen asked bitterly. You the blind girl we had to hide from the world? Xelaria took a step forward. Her voice was calm but sharp like steel. I was never the weakness your fear was. The queen's lips trembled. You are my daughter, but I cannot allow this bond. Bite breaks our code. Xelaria looked at Liam, then reached out her hand. He took it. The relic reacted instantly. A wave of golden light pushed through the chamber. The guards fell to their knees. The machines lifted from the floor and formed a ring around the bonded pair. A voice echoed not from speakers, but from the stone itself. True bond confirmed. Weapon interface ready. The queen stared in horror. No, this is impossible. Liam stepped forward, eyes glowing faintly from the link. Your daughter is the key to your world's survival. Not a shame, not a secret, but a solution. Let her lead, he added, or watch everything fall. The queen stood frozen. Then slowly, she lowered her head. I was afraid, she whispered, afraid of what you might awaken. Xelaria stepped forward. Then stand beside me now, mother. Let me protect our people. The queen turned to the guards. Stand down. They obeyed. Hours later, Liam and Xelaria stood in the command chamber beneath the palace. The heart of the world had transformed. The old machines had synced with new systems. The ancient power now flowed into orbiting defense grids and star. Cannons forgotten weapons from Velzari's golden age. Liam placed his hand on the interface again. We'll only get one shot at this. Xelaria nodded, and we make it count. Outside the planet's orbit, the Varnock ships grew closer. Deadly, silent, cold. They sent a message, surrender, or vanish. But the answer they received, fire. Xelaria's voice rang out through the Velzari battle channel. This is Princess Xelaria. I stand bonded with the human Liam Carter. Our minds are one. Our purpose is clear. We'll defend our people. We will not vanish. They come and turned to Liam. Ready? Always, he said. They pressed their hands together on the console. The weapon activated. Golden beams shot into the sky, forming a shield around the planet. Then from hidden towers across the surface, massive energy lances rose and fired. One of the Varnock warships exploded in a silent flash. Another turned and ran. The rest began to charge. But Xelaria was no longer defenseless, and its blind princess was no longer alone. The sky above Xelaria lit up like 1,000 suns. From the surface, people looked up in silence, watching golden beams arc through the darkness of space. Children clutched their parents. Soldiers stood still. Priests whispered prayers. But all eyes were focused on one thing. Victory, the ancient defense system, the heart of the world, had awakened, not by command, but by bond. And at its center were two figures, the blind princess and the human no one believed in. Inside the command chamber, Liam and Xelaria stood together. Their hands rested on the ancient console. Sweat ran down their foreheads. Their breathing was heavy, but they were still standing. "We destroyed 2 ships," Liam said. "But the third one, it's adapting." Xelaria nodded slowly. "They're learning our patterns. They faced this weapon before centuries ago. But now," she closed her eyes, "they haven't faced me." Suddenly, the lights in the room flickered. Not from power loss, but from her. The relic pulsed in sync with her heartbeat. It glowed brighter when she moved, stronger when she focused. Liam turned to her. "You're connected to it more deeply now. It's not just the system," she whispered. "Did the energy inside it? It's inside me now." She held out her hands. Small sparks of golden light floated around her fingers. Liam stared. "You've changed." "No," she said softly. "I've awakened."
What?
The queen watched from a high observation deck. Advisors stood behind her, silent. She saw her daughter on the screen, surrounded by golden light, standing like a goddess of war. "She was never broken," the queen whispered. "I was blind, not her." One advisor leaned forward. "Should we prepare for full transition of power?" The queen said nothing, but her eyes said everything. Back underground. Xelaria sat cross-legged in the center of the control chamber. Machines floated slowly around her, orbiting like moons. Her blind eyes were closed, but her awareness stretched far beyond the walls. "I can feel the enemy ship," she said. "I know where its weak spots are. I can feel its heat, its power, core, even the fear of its soldiers." Liam stood nearby, watching her with awe. "You're doing this without vision," he said. "That's incredible." "I don't need eyes anymore," she said. "Not when I have energy." Suddenly she gasped and stood. "They're launching. Drones, thousands of them. They're targeting our outer cities." Liam rushed to the panel. "Our defenses won't reach that far." She held out her hands. "They don't have to." In the outer atmosphere, just above a city called Cathal, a swarm of Varnak drones raced through the sky. Each one was armed with plasma needles and sonic disruptors. The local city defenses struggled to keep up. Then, a golden storm appeared. Xelaria's energy amplified through orbiting satellites swept across the swarm. The drones fell from the sky like broken birds. No explosions, just silence. They were shut down without a single shot. In Cathal, the people wept. "She protected us," said an elder. "The blind princess. She sees more than all of us." Back in the chamber, Xelaria collapsed to her knees. Liam caught her. "You're pushing yourself too hard," he said. "I had to," she whispered. "They were in danger." "You need rest," he said. "No," she replied. "I need to become stronger." Liam looked into her white eyes. They glowed faintly now. "You already are." That night, Xelaria and Liam sat in the crystal garden once more. The sky above was filled with stars, ships, and the soft blue shield that now protected Xelaria. He handed her a small fruit from Earth, a peach. She laughed softly. "It smells odd." "Try it," he said. She bit into it and made a face. "Sweet, soft, strange." He smiled. "Like you." She paused. "Is that a compliment, human?" "The biggest one I can give," he said. She turned toward the stars. "You think they'll come back with more ships?"
Yes,
he said. "But next time, we'll be ready." She reached for his hand. "I'm not afraid anymore." He held it. "Good. because they should be. But far beyond the Xelaria system, on a dark and icy moon, something ancient stirred, a massive creature with armor made of obsidian and eyes that burned like fire. It rose from its slumber. The last general of the Varney. It had heard the signal, it had felt the weapon awaken, and now it would come to destroy the bond that lit the galaxy. Asterisk far across the stars. Beyond charted space, a signal pulsed into darkness. It was ancient, older than Xelaria, older than the bond system itself. It echoed through forgotten ruins and dead moons. Damned! And someone answered it. The final commander of the Varnock had awakened. His name was Kairun the Hollow. He had no heart, no eyes, no voice, only a mind made of rage and memory. His body was shaped from obsidian armor and lightning. He had survived the last war by hiding inside a black hole, feeding off energy, waiting for one thing, the return of the weapon now. It had returned, and he would erase it by destroying the bonded pair who awakened it. On Xelaria. Liam and Xelaria stood in the royal war chamber, facing a giant display. A single Varnock dreadnought was approaching. But this one was different. This ship doesn't match any records, said the Xelaria tactician. No call sign, no data. It absorbs radar, and it's massive. It's him, Xelaria said, Kairun. The queen turned sharply. You speak his name as if you've known him. I felt him, she replied. Last night, in my dreams, like smoke and fire crawling through my mind. Liam placed a hand on her shoulder. He's coming for you. No, she said quietly. He's coming for us. Preparations began immediately. The Xelaria fleet assembled, sleek ships with sharp wings and silver cannons. Human allies joined with war cruisers and heavy drones. Together they formed a wall in orbit, but fear still hung in the air. Kairun is not a warlord, said the queen during the last war briefing. He is a force. When he rises, empires fall. Liam stepped forward. Then it's a good thing we're not an empire. We're two souls, one bond.
It's time we fight.
One, Xelaria raised her staff, now pulsing with golden light. Let him come. As Kairun's ship entered the system, stars around it seemed to flicker and die. Smaller ships that approached it vanished. Some were crushed, some melted.
Yes.
Others simply stopped moving as if their energy had been swallowed whole. From the control chamber, Xelaria felt it all. He's not using weapons, she said. He's using fear. His ship, it's alive. It feeds on panic. Liam looked around. Many of the Xelaria crew were sweating, shaking, whispering to themselves. We have to break it, he said. The fear. How? She asked. He took a deep breath. Hope. Liam opened a direct broadcast to the entire system. His voice rang through every screen, helmet, and headset. This is Liam Carter, bonded to Princess Xelaria. I know you're scared. So am I. But fear only has power when we let it control us. Right now, we fight not just for Xelaria. We fight for every world that refuses to kneel. He stepped aside. Xelaria spoke next. I was born blind. Was called useless. I was hidden in shame. But here I stand, not because of sight, but because of belief. If I can rise, then so can you. Her words struck like lightning. The fear began to fade. Across the fleets, soldiers stood taller. Pilots steadied their hands. Weapons powered up. The storm was coming and they were ready. Kairun's dreadnought entered firing range. The battle began. Xelaria ships launched first-tight formations, lasers blazing. Human cruisers followed with ion torpedoes. The skies lit up with red and blue fire. But Kairun didn't fire back. Not yet. Instead, the dreadnought released a wave of invisible force that struck mines, not ships. Liam clutched his head. He's attacking with thoughts. Xelaria gritted her teeth. He's trying to break our bond. The console in front of them glowed. Red dot system. Warning. Mental interference detected. Pilot bond integrity at 64%. He's trying to divide us. Liam said. Xelaria reached for his hand. Then we hold tighter. She closed her eyes. Inside the bond, she saw everything: his memories, his fear, his love, and she sent him hers: darkness, pain, strength, and trust. Bond integrity. 91% the wave passed. The machine stabilized. The chamber brightened again. They had survived the first strike, but Karun was only beginning. In space, the dreadnought opened its core. A black beam of pure energy charged at its center, strong enough to burn a planet. Inside the command chamber, alarms rang. "He's targeting Xelaria itself," shouted a technician. "We have 60 seconds. Levia turned to Xelaria. "Can we stop it?" She stepped forward, hands raised, energy crackling around her. "Yes," she said, "but only if we become the weapon." He looked at her, heart pounding. "Together?" She nodded. Double quotes, "together." They stepped into the heart of the system. Their hands joined, and the weapon responded. Golden light exploded. Outward, the countdown continued. But so did their power, because love had become armor, and the final battle was just beginning. The entire galaxy held its breath. Karun's final weapon charged with black fire. The beam he was preparing could burn Xelaria into ash. It had done so before to other worlds. And it was seconds away from release, inside the ancient heart of the world. Liam and Xelaria stood in the weapon core. Energy danced between them, golden threads of light flowing from her to him, from him to her. They had chosen this path. Now they would walk it to the end. "Are you ready?" Liam asked. Xelaria's blind eyes glowed with fierce light. "Yes. This time we don't just defend, we end it." They stepped into the fusion ring, the oldest part of the system. The place where mind and machine became one. No one had ever gone this far into the heart and returned, but no one had ever bonded like this. The relic recognized them. Instantly, full bond achieved. Human and Xelaria core link stable. Command override activated. Final protocol unlocked. Liam's vision blurred. He saw stars, battles, and the face of Xelaria as a child, crying in darkness. She saw Earth war zones, Liam's loneliness before he met her. Their souls were no longer separate. They were one. Karun's dreadnought released the beam. A massive lance of dark energy fired through space, aimed directly at Xelaria's capital. People screamed. Families held hands. Pilots prepared for death. But then, the sky cracked open. A golden wave burst upward from the planet's surface. It wasn't a shield. It was a presence. Xelaria's mind had fused with the heart. She was the weapon now, and Liam was her anchor. The golden wave met the dark beam. In space, and for a moment, time stopped. The two powers clashed, one born of fear, the other of hope. One to destroy, one to protect. The dreadnought trembled. Inside, Karun growled. His obsidian body cracked. His ship screamed like a living thing. The golden wave didn't just stop his attack. Push back, impossible, he whispered. But he didn't understand one thing. Xelaria had rewritten her story, and now she would rewrite his. The light grew brighter. Xelaria floated within it, her body glowing like a star. Her voice echoed across every frequency. "You called me weak, blind, broken, but I see farther than you ever will. I see a future you can never destroy." Her energy exploded outward. The dreadnought shattered like glass.ca. Rune's scream vanished into silence. And just like that, he was gone. The skies cleared. The people of Xelaria fell to their knees. Cheers, cries, songs, voices filled. With joy and disbelief, they were alive. Because of her. Because of them. Inside the heart's core, Liam lay beside Xelaria. She was still glowing, but her breath was slow. He held her hand. "Come back," he whispered. "We did it. You did it?" Her eyes fluttered open. "I'm still here," he smiled. "You're not just here. You're everywhere." She looked around. The walls of the chamber were alive with light. The relic pulsed gently, like a heartbeat. "You," Became the heart, he said. No, she replied, we did. He leaned forward, touching her forehead. You saved an entire world. She touched his face gently. No, Liam. You saved me first. Later that day, the queen stood before the people. Her crown rested on her arm. She looked tired but proud. She raised her voice for all to hear. My daughter was born blind, but she saw what we could not. She was called broken, but she became our shield. Today I do not name her heir. She turned to Xelaria and Liam, standing hand in hand. I name her queen. The crowd roared. Xelaria stepped forward. Her voice was steady, calm, full of light. I accept this honor, but I will not rule. Alone, she turned to Liam. This human stood with me when no one else would. He is my bondmate, my equal. And together, we will rebuild not just Valzari, but a future where no soul is ever left behind. Years later, in the same garden where it all began, children played beneath glowing vines. A statue stood in the center, a woman with blind eyes and a staff. Holding hands with a human in a starborn suit, a message was carved into the stone.